I got Dr. Pepper in my nose and ready to film part 2 for this video. Um, yeah, so, where were we exactly? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was an oversimplified copy. I don't care. I'm shameless. Okay, so basically, where we ended off at is that Brattia launched an invasion of Green Mountain over here for really no reason other than their allied with Umushu. And this basically just gave Mount Asia the confidence to hold. Well, obviously they're not going to be able to. This city is still holding out, of course. It's they're just that they're just that guy, personally. But what's really happening is that Mount Asia is starting to prepare to actually head over. Take the wrong color. Head over the mountains and cross into Umushu or Umushu, like actually go in there and launch ground invasion, kind of like how Brattia did at the beginning of, well, the Brattian War. And so far, that was pretty successful. We also tried it too, and now they literally have one captured town holding out, so that didn't go so well for them last time. But Brattia is like, hey, instead of launching a second front in Umashu, can you actually come help me with Green Mountain down here? This Green Mountain, they may be not nearly as powerful as Umashu, but they are still quite a bit to handle. And Brattia actually went so far to say that the war in Green Mountain was actually a lot harder than the war in Umashu. There's also a yellow dot over here that I accidentally drew. I'm too lazy to get rid of. So it's just here from now on. The conflict continues as they head down south and quickly are able to reach this mountain range, so they kind of get blocked off, which is one of the main reasons that the war in Green Mountain was not as easy, as they really needed to go south here to capture these very vital ports, so that they wouldn't be caught off guard by Umashu, who was gonna. Oh, by the way, we are not paying attention to climate. They're like certain continents or and islands being certain places would make temperatures of other certain continents and islands, blah blah blah, all that. But sure enough, they kind of just come here. Like, Umashu troops kind of start flooding into Green Mountain, which is definitely not helping out the Brattians as far as keeping them, like, not murdering their entire families and all that. And sure enough, they were able to push them out of their initial invasion point and actually start heading in. While Mount Nisha, who has basically proved himself to be useless at this point, is just kind of sitting here and just preparing to invade, to just pull Hannibal, mostly. That's like probably the best way to describe it. How he kind of like crossed the Alps, but they'll be crossing the Nisha. But the Mount Nishans will be crossing the Nishans, which I guess it's gonna be a lot easier than Hannibal crossing the Alps, because Hannibal had I'm probably never been to the Alps before, but they live near these mountains, so it's probably not gonna be as hard. Also, these two countries, they are gonna eventually do something, just not right now, you coward. Okay, so as the conflict is, god damn, as the conflict continues, the Guardians are having much better luck in mainland, that's a different color for some reason, mainland, Umashu than they were in Green Mountain, which they thought was going to be so much easier, and it's kind of a quick way for them to win the war. Well, they quickly just kind of branch out here using their arm, and using this, making this little arm, was actually a pretty smart strategy to move, as they, every time they'd be cut off, they would just be able to move forward, not having to stretch their supplies out too far, leaving about one or two dozen troops about every town to just do their best to slow them down, basically suiciding themselves. But what was the point of this? So that the Brattia could actually make it to this little sea here, the Sea of Umashu, and just leave Tunisia. So, basically, all they do at that point, some of them go back up this little town, which is still holding out because they are awesome, and some of them go to Nija just to kind of escape and tell them, get over here, or I swear to God, I will kill all of you. And as the conflict continues to rage on over here, yeah, it's not going too well. And then we go up north here, like, Brattia is just kind of, like, doing alright. Most of this conflict takes place in Green Mountain, like, most of the, other than Snakeville, nothing, like, no really large battles. And Noxon, really, no large battles really take place up here in mainland Umushu. It's kind of like how, during the First Punic War, most of the fighting took place in Sicily. And so why am I doing with this? So I don't have to keep switching colors, because it is quite a pain, in fact. But they decided to, for some reason, stretch out the supply line as their new leader. Thought the arm strategy made them weaker, which it kind of did, but it also kind of made them stronger. It makes sense. Like, it just kind of went, it was a double-edged sword, basically. But, honestly, his generals went back to the arm strategy after his death, 2 days after he took office. Yep. So they just kind of expand here, and basically, the conflict continues, and they basically cut off this entire peninsula, and are able to actually capture it. Into the Battle of Fortadell, and here are the 4 green spots, but they do in fact take that, ending basically basically solidifying them grounds in the country itself. But guess what time it is? Nope, just kidding. It's not time for the Nation invasion. Almost though. Almost. Maybe in part 3. I need to put it in part 3. But they just kind of continue heading down south here. Not really, like, with Green Mountain not really putting up any resistance here except for this little arm here that I'm just kind of trying to get rid of. Taking quite a bit of land as well as making their own arm here, though they're not able to master the strategy as good as our good pal Brattia, which you can only see a little bit of. Swooping in and taking a lot of land back. Start, like, kind of just coming down here. The point where they've captured more land down here. They have up here in Umushu. And also, I just realized this shape kind of looks like what a Korean Empire might look like. I might make one of those videos one day, who knows. But they continue just kind of chilling here and expanding their empire. Or not really empire yet. Ooh, Brattia. I can make this into a series. Okay, so basically what happens next is they continue fighting. And they just kind of head over here. Like, oh god, what is this? Until they are able to encircle this area, close it, and fully just kind of take them out here. As well as come over here and kind of just line up the mountains. Mountains, you can cross the mountain a little bit. And I'm totally not saying that just because I'm lazy and don't want to risk what I actually drew. My phone just rang, so you heard something. That was not the children in my basement. That was my phone. So, with the large number of Brattian troops here, Umushu's like, hold on a second. Brattia is like basically undefended. We are using like only 30% at this point of like Umushu's army. This is a total war for Umushu. Like for Brattia and freaking Green Mountain it is. And even for Mount Nija, who this is all the territory they've taken so far. They have currently taken. It's total war for them. But for like Iruchi and Salvador and Solidor and Umushu, it's not at all. They're just kind of doing this. So at this point, they only have like 30% of their military defending, like in the war. And I'm like, wait, if we just refocus our primary efforts into just doing whatever we usually do in the military and focus on the Brattian War, this war might be over within the end of the year. So guess what they do? They don't do that, and they head up here north to try. They do basically the exact opposite of what they just said they were gonna do, and they head farther up north here to start back their trade up here with Solidor and establish a trade network with the Dark Plains here. This was a stupid move and just led to Brattia gaining more and more territory. Though they did do a slight number of soldiers increase on the front line, but the only reason they did that is because they realized that Brattia was getting pretty high up as far as like how much territory like they've taken at this point. So they're like, you know what? We're gonna upgrade our military by like 10% and invade freaking Brattia itself. This invasion here, and they just kind of sweep back and take a lot of land from Brattia. Brattia to try to establish a clear connection just in case the invasionists were coming, then you bring their soldiers home. This is where the battle of Sunni goes that, and just like I said, you know, like major, like influential battles live in Knoxon and Snakeville up here, in which at this point they've taken Snakeville anyway, so that wasn't even that big of a deal. It didn't make or break the war, it just was the largest army ever conceived at the time, and just pretty deadly as well. But it didn't really matter, to be honest. Well, there's someone screaming outside my door. But at this point, yeah, we are gonna need a part 3 though, y'all. I'm sorry. Big sweep in here, and at the Battle of Sunni, right here, they encircle the entire city. It's not that big. Hold on. It's more like that big. That looks like a nipple. And they just kind of take it. Take it with very little, force. They are able to kind of just take this coast and adding a little bit of border gore with sharp edges, which I hate, so I'm just gonna like smooth it down a little bit. Oh god. Oh god, yes, smooth. Okay, so basically, what happens next is they're just slowly digging away at, just kind of slowly digging away at the already captured territory, and they start establishing a connection here. It's like, Brattia's like, oh no. No. We're losing land, we're losing fast. So they kind of beat a lot of forces here in Green Mountain, try and get, like, Umushu just to, like, oh, we should probably start refocusing our efforts towards Green Mountain. They're not as stupid as they used to be, because they have a new leader. So, what do they do now? Well, they had a perfect shot. They could have just hit here, came down here, like, maybe taken multiple ports and all that, and just, bang, just invaded them immediately. Probably would have won the war, considering the fact the capital's, like, right there. But nope. Nope, they did lost their invasion, but instead of going straight here on this beach, they're like, oh, what if we surprise them? Down here, we go around and we hit the bump. We hit the camelback, which this was what it was called. This went horribly, as this area in this world is known especially for its bad weather, just making it literally the worst case scenario for what they could have done here. And the invasion fails. But what you want to know doesn't fail? After years and years of preparation, they are finally ready to cross the nations. And now, so I can add an end card, I'm just going to stare in the ocean for 5 minutes. Okay, that's good enough.